Nuanez, Montana's only statewide sports talk show. Broadcast on 102.9 ESPN radio for Western Montana and across the state on SWX television.
I like football!
Now, sports talk from Montana for Montana. Live from the Kurtz Polaris studio, here is Ryan Tootell and Coulter Nuanez.
Hello, Montana. Officially, minor league baseball is not happening. And officially, Chris Chidovitsky is coming in here to tell us about youth soccer camps. It is Tootell and Nuanez 102.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you on a Tuesday afternoon. Hope you are having a fantastic day. Thanks for spending some time with us on your radios, on your TVs across the state. SWX Montana Television, outstanding to be with you there. And great to be with you around the world. Shout out to the World Wide Web, 1029ESPN.com. You go there, you listen live all the time via the stream. The stream is available whenever you would like to listen to it, thanks to our friends at Opportunity Bank. Your local bank, your opportunity. If you want to give us a call, you can do that as well. 361-3688, 361-3688. All guests join us via the Rangich Brothers RV phone line. Let's take a look at what we have in the show today. Plenty to get to. News breaking earlier this afternoon, just about, 90 minutes ago or something like that. Officially, there is going to be no minor league baseball at all in the United States this year, and that includes, obviously, the Pioneer League. So season number one, what was to be season number one for the Missoula Paddleheads, is not happening. We hope that there is a season number one next year, but we're a long way from that. So anyway, we will get into the official news coming down from Pat O'Connor, the president and CEO, the commissioner of minor league baseball, regarding minor league baseball. We'll also get to the Paddleheads statement about that. In about a half an hour, it's our Pepsi Youth Sports segment. We do this once a month, take a look at what's going on in the world of sports at the youth level. And this is a great, especially now, looking for reasons to get outside, ways to be active with your kids in the summer. Chris Chidovitsky, the head coach of the Montana soccer team, going to come in here and talk to us about the youth camps, the Grizz youth camps that they got going on. So we'll speak with him about that a little bit. We also will get into the Big Sky Scholar athletes who have been announced, two for each school, a male and a female athlete from each school across the Big Sky Conference, and tell you specifically who are the nominees for Montana and Montana State. This is a significant award because it's about the overall part of it. It's about the athletics of it, of course, and then it's also about the academics as well. So we'll get into that. Top of the hour, Coulter had a good question. I thought this was fun, and we were going to have a little mess around with this. You can think about this as well. Give us a call. Give us your insight, your thoughts. But pick a former professional player from each of the sports. We'll do football, baseball, and basketball, NBA, NFL, and MLB, that you wish was playing right now, or that if you could bring back and put that player into the league to play right now to, see either how good they were, what role they might have in today's game compared to the era in which they played, and all that kind of stuff. But I got several guys lined up, and I'm looking forward to this. I think this will be a fun conversation. We also are awaiting word from the Darby School District. They are set to put out a release. Have they put out the release?
Just hit.
Okay, so a release has just come out. They were going to make a statement, so we'll get to that here in just a moment. Again, regarding the future of their current football coach, who was initially put on, going to have reprimands and some disciplinary action for a post he put on Facebook. We spent a fair amount of time talking about that, but we will hear what the newest release is here from the Darby School District, and also a ton of participants from around the Big Sky Conference, football teams especially, Montana and Montana State, being very active and vocal about him and about this situation in Darby on social media. And we wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit. So there you go. That is our show today. That is what we were going to get into. Now, we were going to get into the Missoula Paddleheads and minor league baseball here off the top, Coulter, but this news is breaking right now. The release is out as of right now. So go ahead and read it to us, if you would, what the Darby School District is saying.
Darby School District has decided to not fire Jeff Snavely. Instead, he will serve a 1-year suspension. Among the other things that they're requiring him to do, he will be required to attend and complete a board-approved one-on-one training counseling session on social and racial injustice at his own expense. Mr. Snavely will also be required to attend and help organize at least 4 community conversations set up by the board chair and vice chair to improve the culture and climate in the community and Darby Public Schools. And he will also be required to bring 10 community members to each training by his invitation. He'll be suspended without pay for 1 year. He may not coach any Darby student directly or indirectly, including through other coaches, so he's banned from contact basically with the entire football team, period. He also may not attend any practices or Darby football camps or games. The 2020-21 football season is suspended. If the 2021 football season is suspended due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the suspension will carry on into next season.
Interesting. Okay. There's going to be a lot of people who are not happy about this. That is a fairly stiff discipline. I would say this. It's about as strong a discipline as I've heard of at the high school level that falls short of being a firing.
Right.
I don't know what to think about this for a couple of reasons. Actually, maybe I know too much what I think about this. Maybe that's my problem. Yeah. What he posted, and we talked about this before, what he posted a month ago now is completely unacceptable in every way. His explanation for it does not approach an explanation that justifies then or makes sense of what it is that he said. This is without question a fireable offense. There's also a level at which it seems to me, in a small community, which Darby certainly is, and small towns across Montana, that there is a level of, if he was fired, he would be fired, and he could just go on doing whatever it is that he does. You know, he would live his life, and whether he would have any repercussions socially or otherwise in the community, you know, down the Bitterroot, I don't know. But it would be over then at this point.
Sure.
This discipline, there is a level to me here at which he is required to basically confront repeatedly what it is that he said, and he has to do that with people that he knows and knows well. Now, maybe there's an enabling factor there because it is people that he knows well, and he has supporters in that community. Mm-hmm. So maybe he can insulate himself in some way with, 10 community members or whatever it is that he feels like has his back or whatever the deal is. But if you're talking about maybe addressing a student body, if you're talking about not being fired but being suspended, and not just being suspended, if the season doesn't happen, the suspension is then for next season. And being forced to revisit this within the community that you live in a small town like this, there is a certain level where that is maybe harder to deal with. It may be a harsher punishment in some respects than a firing, though a firing feels like, well, this is the ultimate thing that a school district could do to a coach. Like we always think of being fired as sort of the ultimate disciplinary action for an employee. And in that respect, that is warranted here. I think, too, though, there are ways in which if all of this stuff comes to fruition, all the things that he's being required to do by the school district, by the school board, is in fact accomplished. First of all, perhaps there's, I don't know if rehabilitative, but educational aspect about this to understand what the sense is that you are passing along when you say the things you say, whether or not you mean them in the sense that they're being received in. And to have to face the people in the community, both in the school, the students, the teachers, and your fellows, the people who you live your life with each and every day. I think that is something that is, worth noting about this. But I certainly will understand people who go, no. This goes all the way to a 10. There's no room. We're not going to sit here. We don't need to be nuanced about this. this Snavely has got to be done. That's it. That's all. I certainly I understand and recognize, appreciate that sentiment.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's an educator. That's what high school coaches are, and so he's going to be forced to educate people about something that maybe is, not status quo.
And just so we're clear here, he's not a teacher at the school.
Right.
His only affiliation with Darby is as a coach. So he's not going to be in the halls of the school during the day, teaching history or whatever is often the case, where it's the teachers that are also then the coaches later. So that's worth noting.
I get the premise of what they're trying to do here, the Darby School Board. I just don't know how far it goes. I mean, if he's required to have at least 4 community conversations that are set up by the board, and he has to bring 10 different people, I mean, I just don't know when it doesn't fall flat. I mean, if I don't even know how to articulate this. I don't know how you are supposed to teach people about something when it's all you're doing is apologizing for a mistake that you just never should have made. Like, there's mistakes that you can somewhat justify, and then there's just idiocy, regardless of if his comments were somehow misinterpreted. It's just blatant stupidity to post it on Facebook at this moment in time, period.
Yes.
Period. The Drew Brees argument always comes to mind, right? Because what Drew Brees said in itself, singularly, was not that controversial. It was just so controversial given the timing of when he said it and then the way that it was spun. This is completely different. I mean, you're talking about, it doesn't matter if he's talking about it in the Old West fashion like he was trying to justify. He's talking about hanging humans. It doesn't matter if it's a racially charged thing or whatnot. He's talking about murder. And he's a high school coach.
Right.
On a public forum. That is, I don't know. I think that this might actually be a worse punishment for the individual, but I think it's a horrible look for the school, and I think that it's, I think it just continues to perpetuate the narrative that people in rural communities, the small little rural communities, are ignorant. And I think it just makes them look like that. I mean, this got picked up by Sarah Spain. Like, this is national news. When you first told me about this, and we were debating whether to talk about it, I said, to me, the Darby football program is largely irrelevant, with the exception of a couple stories that they've had that have had nothing to do with football. They had the young man that had cancer, and that was a big story. Him kind of playing his last year while he was, in his last months. But other than that, I mean, they have no real tradition to speak of. But that said, I said that, well, to me, there's not really any talking points here. We need to talk about it after it's over. We both presumed that he would be fired. And then he's not, and I just think it's a really bad look for all of Western Montana.
And the thing, I guess, that stands out to me here in this is, like you said, perhaps this is a worse punishment in certain ways, in certain sort of
for the individual,
socially normative and frankly embarrassing ways for Jeff Snavely, the person.
But I just want to know how, if the guy who made the mistake is the one that's expected to be the one that's giving all the talks, when he. I don't want to call it a mistake. When the guy who made the statement, that the inflammatory statement, I just don't know how that person is going to educate a community without it just being either preaching to the choir or living in the echo chamber,
or just a show.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. And the other thing, though, too, is even if this is all done in sort of the best possible sense that it could be done, where we really take this stuff seriously and we want this person to change and recognize what they've done, and they're going to show that they've done that and hopefully bring us all along to boot while we go, okay, maybe. But also the statement that it makes for everyone around to fire him in this instance for this offense isn't there now. That is the thing when you say, this is a bad look for the school board. Yep. That's the look to me that is bad, is that you are, at the end of the day, people are going to they can look at the discipline or whatever, but I think most people are just going to go fired, not fired. Like, that's the way that they're going to understand this. And if the answer is not fired, then the assumption is enabling, don't really care, don't take it seriously, perhaps don't understand the seriousness of what it was that was said.
Montana State football players have been really, really, really vocal about this on Twitter. Guys ranging all the way from Tucker Rovig, who's a quarterback from Boise, to Sammy Akem, who's Tucker Rovig for the Bobcats, Sammy Akem, wide receiver from Oklahoma for the Grizzlies. A lot of former Grizz have been talking about it. I thought Chief Goodwin, Anthony Goodwin, who used to play corner for the Grizz, him and J.R. Nelson, who's a friend of this show, they both had a great back and forth discussing this, talking about how offended they thought, or how offended they were. I would love if Jeff Snavely had to take. I would love if he had to call those guys and take them to the meetings. Mm-hmm. Have Sammy Akem get up and talk about how bad this made him. How this affected him. I just think that again, I just think that if he's the one giving the talk, he's just preaching the choir. I don't know how anybody learns anything from that besides just the same repetitive, "Hey, I'm sorry," but does it have any weight? I don't know, but it just seems like it's a missed educational opportunity. I don't know how anybody actually learns from this in an authentic fashion.
It's Tootell and Nuanez 102.9 ESPN Radio. I realize where we live here in the state of Montana, and I think that there's a lot that I like about this. And there's people who talk about, I've heard for many, many years, just the frustration and the perceived idiocy of things like being politically correct. Like, why does it have to be, why do we got to dance around everything? We can't just confront things anymore. We got to be, massage everything out and, tactful with what we say. Oh, yeah, and that's fine. And there's a level at which I am, listen, the family that I come from, we are generally on the side of, why is everybody so offended all the time? My goodness, could somebody just be okay with something every once in a while? Why does everything just have to be the worst thing in the world that happens? So I'm with all that, and yet at the same time, there's a certain recognition where there's a whole bunch of people. I'm not even just talking about people of color compared to the Anglo-Saxons of the country, though that is the overarching narrative as it should be at this present time. Mm-hmm. But anybody that's lived whatever life they've lived, and you've lived whatever life you've lived, and you don't know some of the things that others have been through. Colter, I know some of the things that you've gone through in your life that other people may not know about.
Sure.
And they might say some things. I know people have made flippant comments about things that could stop you in your tracks. People made flippant comments that stop me in my tracks because we have different experiences than the ones that others have. And I think that the hope is to recognize that while we all want to sort of be okay and be good with one another, there's a level at which we all have to be able to recognize that the things that we say and do, whatever spirit or context or whatever it is that we have meant it in, and it could be the least offensive thing in the world, isn't necessarily that to others, and that's not their fault. Right. That's our responsibility as best as we're able to take care of each other and to not interact in that way. And by the way, this ain't that. I mean, what we're talking about with what Snavely said on, that's hundreds of yards away from this. Right. But I'm just speaking in general terms. I feel like there's a certain feeling like, well, why does everything have to be so offensive all the time? Well, it doesn't have to be a lot of things, but also there should be a recognition as we live with each other of, it seems to me, of trying to avoid saying things in such a way where it would be where it could hurt somebody. And I think we've all been quote unquote victims of that. We've all experienced situations where we've been hurt by something that somebody said where they were completely unintentionally doing it, right? And we've hurt others in things that we've said, and the less that we do that, the better. And I don't know why if that's the spirit in which much of this is being taken in, is particularly controversial. It seems like that's the right way to go as best as we can.
Yeah, and the way that this whole scenario played out too. I mean, the fact that this happened so long ago and it took so long for deliberation, it should have been much more swift decisions. I just think that what we've been talking about with all of the things that have been going on around the country, particularly when it comes to racial and social injustice, I don't think that the whole premise to me is to shut your mouth and listen. And there's this huge politically fueled debate between Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter. And just because you say Black Lives Matter does not mean you think that all lives don't matter. You can believe both. And that's the thing that drives me so crazy about the corner that we've reached in this country, where you draw a line in the sand, you stand on one side of the line or the other and scream down each other's throats, and there is no possible way to have any nuance to any sort of conversation. It's nauseating. It's horrible. But what has been going on is about Black Lives Matter. So then to me, to have some person be now in charge of the education of that, he's not listening. He's just talking. What does he know besides the mistake that he made or besides the inflammatory comments that he posted? Nothing. I would love if the Derby. I wish the Derby School Board could have had the Grizz players go down there and talk to them. Mm-hmm. Talk about what it's like to be, African American, live in the city of Missoula. I mean, we've heard some horrific stories just recently about guys on the Grizz football team experiencing blatant racism to their face. It's like you were saying the other day. It doesn't matter who you are. There will be maybe an experience, maybe not. A lot of people don't have the experience. But if you ever are lucky enough to have the experience where you are different than everybody else around you, like when you went to the Philippines, mm-hmm. they think you're,
a center,
the tallest man in the world. This guy's 6'1". Oh my God, he's the tallest guy I've ever seen. But it's a weird thing, right? It's an interesting experience. It's very akin to like when you go. Yeah, I've been in places where I was the only person that anybody ever met from Montana. Just the novelty of just being from Montana. Man, What's Montana like? That's crazy. But then imagine being Sammy Akem, who's 6'4". His size itself makes him stand out, let alone the color of his skin. And it's an interesting experience. I'm not saying it's a bad one. I think it's a largely good one in a lot of ways. But I just wish that the people that made this decision could see. I'm not so sure anybody on the Derby School Board has Twitter. They might not be hearing all of the commentary from guys that this really offended.
Right.
I just wish there was an open forum for that, because I think that there would be different decisions that were made, but more importantly, a much higher level of education to be bestowed if there was a platform for some of these guys to actually express themselves to the people that are making these choices.
Tootell, Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio. With that, we will shift into some more sports sorts of things. Take a quick break. On the other side, Chris Chidavitsky, the head soccer coach at the University of Montana, is here. It's our Pepsi Youth Sports segment. And Montana Soccer, they got a bunch of youth sports camps coming up this next month. He's going to tell us all about it right after this.
Wayne McElmurray knows what you can achieve through hard work as an athlete from a small town in Montana. The Troy native rose up to become an All-American safety for the Grizzlies on UM's 95 National Championship team before spending time playing in the NFL. McElmurray has also used those values in his work at McElmurray Homes. Since 2003, McElmurray Homes has helped contract and subcontract some of the Garden City's finest houses. McElmurray Homes is committed to offering quality custom service, quality products, and the best prices throughout any project. And McElmurray Homes is also a proud supporter of high school athletes around the state of Montana.
Summer is here, so get out of the house and play some golf at the picturesque Canyon River Golf Club. Canyon River boasts a pristine 18-hole championship golf course sitting along the Clark Fork River in the beautiful mountain valley of East Missoula. The course is meticulously manicured and in perfect shape to give you the challenge and fun you're looking for. Visit CanyonRiverGolfClub.com to book your tee time online and save big all season. You've been cooped up, so get out and play at Canyon River Golf Club.
The Star-Spangled 4th of July sale is on now at Bob Ward's. Celebrate Independence Day with great deals on sports and outdoors gear throughout the store. Bob Ward's is your summer fun headquarters. Check out the savings on tubes, stand-up paddleboards, kayaks and rafts, summer footwear, backpacks and camping gear, fishing, apparel, and accessories for 4th of July fun. Before you hit the road, trail, or lake this summer, gear up at Bob Ward's. Wishing you a safe and festive holiday. Bob Ward's, gear for adventures since 1917.
Hi there, it's Les Schwab Alignment and Brakes and Shocks and Wheels and Tires. Some tire places don't offer all that, but we do to help keep you safe. And during our Ready for Summer tire sale, save up to $110 on a set of 4 select tires. We're open, so stop on by or book an appointment at leschwab.com. Les Schwab Tires. Doing the right thing matters. Limited time offer while supplies last. Actual discount amount depends on tire size and type. Cannot be combined with other offers. Details at leschwab.com.
Hello, Montanans. Times have been uncertain, but we here at the Montana Club have relished seeing how our communities have pulled together. We've been grateful to serve you delivery and takeout, which we will continue to do, and we are excited to announce that our dining room is open again. Thank you for supporting us during this time. We can't wait to see you and serve you all of your Montana Club favorites. As always, we are here for you. We are Montana. Welcome back to the club, the Montana Club, on Brooks and North Reserve, Missoula.
The Star-Spangled 4th of July sale is on now at Bob Ward's. Celebrate Independence Day with great deals on sports and outdoors gear throughout the store. Bob Ward's is your summer fun headquarters. Check out the savings on tubes, stand-up paddleboards, kayaks and rafts, summer footwear, backpacks and camping gear, fishing, apparel, and accessories for 4th of July fun. Before you hit the road, trail, or lake this summer, gear up at Bob Ward's. Wishing you a safe and festive holiday. Bob Ward's, gear for adventures since 1917.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Ryan Tootell, Colton Nuanez. Here's some sports news for you. Former Montana State All-American Mike Person retired from the NFL after 9 seasons Monday. Person had just finished the first season of a 3-year, $8.2 million contract extension with San Francisco, but the club released him after the season to save money against the salary cap. Person was a 7th-round draft choice of the 49ers in 2011, but bounced around early in his career, spent time with the Seahawks, Chiefs, Rams, Falcons, and Colts before returning to San Francisco in 2018.
Speaking with Greg Rockach of the Missoula, not the Missoula, 406M2Sports.com. Sorry, Greg's worked all over the place.
Yes.
Person cited a number of reasons why now was the right time to retire, including family time and his own personal time. He also said you have to weigh how your body feels, and it's not feeling great, to be honest. I bet not after playing 10 years in the NFL. Person started 30 games for the 49ers, including every single game last season. He played all 58 of San Francisco's offensive snaps in Super Bowl 54.
And finally, NBA 2K21 has revealed a new face for the game cover. It's former Weaver State point guard and current Portland Trail Blazers star Damian Lillard. In a statement released, Lillard said, quote, "This is a special moment for me in my NBA career. I've been a fan of NBA 2K for years and love how they represent all aspects of basketball culture."
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is brought to you by Aspen Sound.
Tootell Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television. Howdy, good to be with you. At Gus Tootell on Twitter, at 102.9 ESPN, and at Skyline Sports MT as well. Follow along there as you would like to. It is time now. We do this once every month, and I'm happy now that we're happy to do it. We're off next week. Have we mentioned yet, Coulter, that we're on vacation next week? Yeah, it's been a pretty central talking point.
I think you did the entire show on it yesterday.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned it no less than 17 times.
Normally, we would do this on the second Tuesday of the month, or the first Tuesday of the month, which would be next Tuesday. But as it is, we're doing it today so that we can get this thing done. It is our Pepsi Youth Sports segment. It's brought to us by Pepsi Cola of Missoula, and in studio with us, the head coach of the Montana Grizzlies soccer team, Chris Chidavitsky, friend of the show. And Chris, you came to see us today, so thank you very much for going across town like that.
Absolutely.
We're happy to have you in here, and it's good to see you again. And we last time we spoke quite a bit about you being kind enough to lend your field to the Tacoma Rain. Rain now. Yeah. Okay, that's right. They moved around, so they couldn't put a city on it. They're all over Western Washington. But talked about your team and all that. But now it's the summer, and it's been, as we know, a very atypical summer in a variety of different ways. But Grizzly sports camps go on all the time, or you traditionally have gone on all the time. You've always had a bunch of soccer camps and things going on. This year that has been reduced significantly, but not eliminated. You had one. It went so well that you said, okay, we need to do at least one more of these, and so you're prepping for that, right? So tell us about youth sports camps in general. Like what do you try and accomplish in these things?
I really didn't see that question coming. Good one.
Get the kids outside, right?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's getting them outside, getting them to interact with our players is a massive piece. And then for me personally, because I am such a values-based person, it's giving them some of the values of our program. So for instance, we will talk, even if they're young, just about mindset. Just like, hey, here's something that we really believe in as Grizz soccer players. When we're trying to teach you something, be open-minded, try to learn. If it's not working, please don't get angry about it. Just try again. That's a big piece for us. Our players do it. We want to have you do it too.
From the player perspective is such an interesting one too, right? Because I remember going to Grizz Cage Camp when Blaine Taylor was the head coach back in the '90s, and I mean, I wanted to be Sean Samuelson. Like that's I thought he was just a superhero. Do you see that? Do you see the kids just really loving interacting with your players?
100%. And it's the best part of camp. When the day ends and they're signing jerseys or somebody comes up to them and is like, can I please take my picture with you? It's the coolest thing ever to see. And it puts them in an awesome spot. It puts them on a platform to make a difference, and then just allows somebody in our community to have somebody to look up to in their sport.
And then someday that maybe they might become Lady Grizz soccer players, right?
You would hope so.
Quinn Peacock probably went to a Grizz soccer camp once upon a time, right? I mean, that's
absolutely.
so cool that now she gets to go and then now teach the kids and pass it on.
The other thing, too, is, I mean, obviously relationships are so important for so many things, but do you feel like in addition to giving back to the kids, to the community, and to the families that bring these kids, you also are helping to create a certain fan base where, hey, these kids want to go watch your players play on the big stage in a Division I soccer game, and that they will come out for a couple of games each season because they went to these camps?
Yes, exactly. I think that's really important too. We're trying, so every time we do these youth camps, it's not just to engage the youth, it's also to engage their parents, to have them come to games, to make a difference in their lives, to make them a better player. You try and hit all those things. So, yeah.
Chris Chidavitsky joining us. He's the head coach of the Montana soccer team. And you just had a camp that was sold out and a big success a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
And it went so well, you said, okay, we need to do another one of these, which is happening not next week, but the following week. It starts on the 13th?
Starts on the 13th through the 16th.
13th through the 16th, so 4 days. Is that 4 or 5 days? 4 days. And tell people, first of all, what's involved in that. Like, what are the times, the durations, and maybe some of the age groups and that kind of stuff?
Sure. We're looking at first graders through seventh graders.
Okay.
9 a.m. through noon every single day. There were plenty of popsicles and Gatorade. Hey, come on, right? And so kids always love that. I feel like they love the soccer side of things, but when you tell them, hey, it's water break, you can buy popsicles now, boom, the line's massive, and they're all there. So, so like I said, 13th through the 16th, 9 through noon, 1st through 7th grade, and we can have a max of 44 because it's going to be on our field. And so including the coaching staff at that point, it's 50, and that's our coronavirus numbers at this point in time. So 44, we're about 50% sold out, so I'd love to get more.
What's that part been like? Trying to figure out the logistics of how do we do a camp and make sure everybody stays safe but still has fun? I mean, it must be different than summers past.
Yes, it was quite complicated to begin with. It almost put me off, to be honest, of like, there are so many things that have to go into this to make it happen, but the more you are without sports, the more you want to do it. And then at some point, I'm looking at my kids at home being like, I can't wait for you to get out of this house. And I'm like, I need to give this to other people. And so that's why we did it.
You, Mom and Dad. We've put a lot of work into ensuring the safety of your kids. For people who have kids that they might be interested, where can they go to learn more about the camp and sign up and do all that?
Yes, if they went to www.montanasoccercamps.com, that's it.
It's all there.
It's all there.
That's fantastic. When it comes to the soccer portion of this, you talked about the values, which is a big deal. But I assume they're split up to some extent, but ages first, second grade, maybe together, third, fourth, and so on. But what are the things that you teach that are I mean, is it just the fundamentals? Is it integrated team stuff? Is it stuff you can take home and work on your own? Like what all goes into it from a soccer standpoint?
Our program is very big on fundamentals, even for our Division I college soccer players. So we push the fundamentals very hard onto the youth as well every time they come to the camp. So we want to reflect our program in our camps and not just put on a babysitting service. So you are getting that because one day they could be playing for us, right? And so, we really focus on the technical side. So first day is usually some sort of dribbling component, so teaching them that, and then giving them homework to take home. And I'll email the parents at the end of the day and be like, this is what we worked on. Maybe try to quiz you on this for me, please, right?
Yeah.
Just to see if he or she remembers any of that.
Do you see improvements in your own players from teaching things like fundamentals?
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Especially when it comes to defending, which is such a hard thing to understand. To have them get it, it's pretty cool.
Now that you say that, it occurs to me, I've got no idea what it means to defend on a soccer field. What? I mean, I'm serious. Like, I'm like, well, like any other sport.
I mean, of all the sports that you missed out on, I mean, like D-end and football, top of the list. Soccer, I don't know, man. I don't know if you were really, me and you both, not really. I don't think we missed our calling.
I played in 5th grade. I was on a traveling team, I'll have you know, going from Santa Fe to Albuquerque, New Mexico and back on a regular basis.
There you go.
And enjoyed it very much. And it was clear probably that was the end of the road for me from a skills standpoint. But, I mean, what do you do? Like, how do you, I mean, it's cutting off angles, it's cutting off passing lanes, that sort of thing, and obviously trying to, time it right? I mean, to attack the ball where you're not going to commit a foul, something like that. So, but how do you teach that? Like, what's the thing? What do you need to know?
You've got to be able to explain it in a way that the kids understand it, right? Because cutting off angles, cutting off passing lanes, right? Approaching at the right speed, at the right angle to take away something, it's all complicated. But the best thing is having the players who can demonstrate it. And having those using our players, and on those days we use our players to teach that. Because I want to see you're going to have to demonstrate, and then you're going to have to stop and show again. And a lot of soccer defending is actually about your upper body and using your arms. And that's a big piece that we teach, how to take space, how to get into somebody's bubble, and then take possession and take, as I like to say, take their soul, right? Really get in there, take their soul, take everything from them and go. So
you and Montana State head football coach Jeff Cho get along great, I think.
Okay.
He's always talking about, what's he say? It's something, cleanse the mind, purge the soul. Or something like that.
There you go. Right? You got to take their soul when it comes to defending. Yeah.
I have an odd question for you. Do you think that soccer video games can help teach kids things like that? Because when you're talking about angles and stuff like that, playing FIFA taught me so much about where to aim the through ball, or how to just cut off angles. How do you beat a guy to a spot or beat a girl to a spot? Have you ever thought about that?
No, I have thought of it. I've thought about if I could find a way to finance a PlayStation for everybody, or at least iPads for everybody, and then do a training session purely based on that.
Right.
Let's walk through this concept here on this. It would be very beneficial.
Because maybe the most realistic video game that there is FIFA. I mean, it is so much like real soccer, just in terms of the way that the ball flows.
I always thought it was Pong. That's pretty realistic, isn't it? Just bouncing back and forth. Chris Chudovitsky in with us. It is the Pepsi Youth Sports segment, talking to us about the Grizz soccer camp. Again, it's coming up not next week, but the following week, July 13th through the 16th. Chris, give them the website again.
MontanaSoccerCamps.com.
MontanaSoccerCamps.com
Yes.
For more info. There's still about 20 spots remaining for that. This camp is going to be on the actual soccer field over there by Dorn Blazer, so it's going to be the real deal. It'll be a lot of fun. I notice a lot of places sometimes that certain sports can sort of get a thing going where they start from middle school all the way through high school and even the college level. The same coaches are on board coaching the same thing, and you almost just graduate from 7th and 8th grade into high school, and you're doing the same football stuff, the same style of game that you're doing all the way through, and then into the college, and all of a sudden you have players who are far more prepared to play at the college level because they've been built to play at the specific college. Now, I'm not saying whether that's a good or bad thing necessarily, but you see these channels of growth where multiple coaches at multiple levels have gotten together and said, hey, let's create this style, or let's create this thing and do it. When it comes to soccer, I don't imagine there's something quite like that necessarily, but from the youth level into different things like the strikers and then the high schools and things like that, how much interaction do you have with some of those girls coaches, girls programs to say, hey, this is what we're looking for. This is important to us. Character stuff, certainly, soccer stuff as well. And say, just so you know, this is the stuff that I as the head coach and we as a program are about. There's some food for thought for you. Do you do that kind of thing? Does that interaction happen like that?
The interaction needs to happen more like that here in the state. I need to do a better job of that. But externally, we do it, yes, because rather than looking at our recruiting budget and saying, let's go the shotgun method and shoot across the country and just try to recruit everybody, I'll go to certain clubs. They play a style that I want us to play. Because soccer has become very philosophical in some areas where you want to be very possession orientated, you don't mind what you are, or you're extremely direct. And I know the clubs that do that, and I can go to them and hang around there and spend most of my recruiting money there. And if I only get players from 1, 2, 3, 4 clubs, then we're going to be hyper successful. And they play in a way that as if I would have taught them my entire life. And they fit right into the system. Yeah. And so I need to, for one, do a better job getting our team playing that way because we weren't ready to play that way yet for the past 2 years. And so we're going to turn a massive page this year to see if we can execute it.
Well, that's scary for the rest of the league since the two-time defending conference champion coach. Okay,
yeah, it's pretty cool. All right. And then once they can see it, to show it to the coaches here, and again, keep pushing it through our camps, all of our camps, our ID camps and everything, and try to see if we can get people here who play that way.
When it comes to recruiting, and I know that these are going to be kids, so you're not doing this for recruiting purposes. But how young do soccer players start to flash?
Oh, it could be early.
Right.
There were kids at the Slice camp that I was looking at like, you're pretty talented. Right.
Because
how old are you? 8?
It seems like a sport that when you're like 10, you could start to flash.
Oh, absolutely, you could. Yes. Yeah, you could be 8, 9, 10 years old. I was in Seattle for an event, and it was raining, and I went inside for a bit before it started, and there was just this indoor soccer league going on. There was a girl that must have been 8 or 9 playing with some kids that were older. She was just tiny, but unbelievably talented. You're like, wow, that's a Division I player in the making, without a doubt.
This is not youth related, but I'm interested in this. There's no soccer program at Montana State. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of things that go into that, different sports in Title IX and having balance of scholarships and things like that. On one hand, you sort of get to monopolize Montana in a certain way, being the only Division I program in the state. But what would it be like if Montana State had a women's soccer program? Do you think that would be cool? Do you think it would be hard? Do you think it would what would you think about that?
It's just extra motivation, right?
Yeah.
So, I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it, and I hope that they do it at some point. Just why not have more competition?
It is interesting, man. Like with the Cat-Grizz rivalry such as it is, it's remarkable how many sports do not have a counterpart at the other university.
Right.
There's a bunch of them.
No alpine and Nordic skiing, women's soccer, softball. You guys don't get the Cat-Grizz thing.
Yeah, I know, and I miss it. I get to watch everybody else do it. I'm like, I wish I had that.
Right. Once again, the youth sports camp, youth soccer camp, University of Montana Youth Soccer Camp is July 13th through the 16th. There's still space available, so go check that out. Coach Chitavitsky will be there, several players as well. They're going to keep the numbers low so that they abide by Phase 2 regulations, keep everybody safe like that. But a great opportunity for a week of mornings to let your kids go run around and maybe give you an opportunity for a nice omelet at your house. Something like that. Chris, thanks so much for being here, man. It's great to see you again. We appreciate it.
I got to ask you one more thing before we get you out of here.
Done.
I've been thinking about this. We were having a debate on the golf course the other day. Not just guys, men or women, that chose to take a certain path in sports that became elite at what they did. But then maybe, I guess my question is, in your mind, is there an athlete or two that could be, if they would have chosen soccer instead of, say, basketball, or they would have chosen soccer instead of, say, football, could be an unbelievable soccer player? I thought, like, if Russell Westbrook would have decided he was going to play soccer, he would be such a good
Darren Sproles
forward.
Yeah, Steve Nash was really good at both.
Steve Nash would be a great center mid, right?
Yeah. Steve Nash's slam dunk competition pass to Amari Stoudemire where he kicked it and then headed it off the backboard. I mean, the amazingness of that dunk wasn't the dunk. It was Steve Nash doing soccer things with the basketball.
Like imagine LeBron James playing goalie.
Yeah, right? Just the size. the entire goal is covered. Yeah.
It would be amazing.
Oh, man, I'd like to see LeBron James wearing some bright neon green or something like that. That would be good, too. Coach, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate it. This has been our youth sports segment. Bring it to you once a month, the first Tuesday of every month, though. Again, we're doing it a little early since we're out next week. It's brought to us by Pepsi Cola of Missoula. Pepsi Cola is a proud supporter of youth athletics in Missoula. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, Big Sky Scholar athletes have been announced. This is a significant award. We'll tell you who both Montana State and Montana's acknowledgments go to right after this. Yes, Polaris is open. The great outdoors are wide open, so why not make the most of it during the Polaris Summer Sales event? Take the family on a cross-country adventure with Polaris General, the world's most comfortable, most powerful sports utility machines. Kick up some dust in a Razor, the off-road's most thrilling performance side-by-sides. Grab the bars of a legendary Sportsman ATV and discover the freedom of unstoppable performance. Or get more done between your fence lines with Ranger, America's favorite off-road workhorse. There's never been a better time to say yes to outdoor adventure. Enjoy rebates up to $1,000 on the off-road's best during the Polaris Summer Sales event at Kurtz Polaris. Kurtz Polaris is at 2904 West Broadway in Missoula and Highway 83 in Sealy. Kurtz has all the best in off-roading with dirt bikes and side-by-sides, and now Kurtz has Crest pontoon boats in stock for the season. Summer is here at Kurtz Polaris, online at kurtzpolaris.com. Offers valid in U.S. through 6/30/20 on new 2016 through 2020 vehicles. Offers vary by model. See dealer for details. Always wear a helmet, never drink and ride.
Here's some exciting news. Farmers State Bank is offering the Summer Better Sweepstakes for a chance to win $5,000. Download our mobile money app and use Zelle to send money. During June and July, each time you send $5 or more with Zelle, you receive a sweepstakes entry. For rules and details, visit farmersebank.com. Farmers State Bank, member FDIC. No purchase necessary. Zelle is available to U.S. bank account holders only. Terms and conditions apply. Zelle is a property of Early Warning Services, LLC.
After a long couple of months, it's finally feeling like we're getting back to business as usual. But it's not the usual at all. At Missoula's Wingate, we are, as always, committed to giving you a relaxing stay at a great value. But we're also balancing the new guidelines like maximum pool occupancies and increased disinfecting to protect your health with a never-ending pledge to make you feel at home when you're not. If you find yourself on the road in the Missoula area, please consider staying with us at Missoula's Wingate.
There's a reason the Desperado has been voted best wings and sports bar in Missoula. Start with the wings. Despo wings are never frozen, which is why they're always big, juicy, and tender. And the burgers and steaks at the Despo? They purchase them each day from a butcher shop right here in town. And when it comes to drinks, the Despo has the coldest beer on tap and is always served in a frosty mug. All this plus the NFL ticket every Sunday, Grizz games, and the friendliest staff in town. The Desperado Sports Tavern, across from the Y on Russell.
Automated Living is a Missoula-based smart technology company. If you are looking for a new home theater, some quality hi-fi music on your deck or den, a screen and projector at your boardroom, one button to turn off all the lights, cameras to monitor your parking lot, or a security system to keep you and your family safe, Automated Living has a solution for you. We make our clients' lives easier and more enjoyable while giving peace of mind with streamlined control of all elements in the home or office. Contact us today for a free consultation.
If it matters to Missoula, it matters to us. Ryan Tootell and Colter Nuanez on 102.9 ESPN Radio.
So come on and tickety check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Welcome back. Tootell Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television. Great to be with you on this very fine Tuesday afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Coulter's doing great. Coulter's turned on all the electronic equipment. Nothing's on mute. I mean, you're having a full conversation
coming out. I thought it was coming out of my thing. It's a great new ad. I know. I'm sorry. I have my computer on mute. I didn't have it on mute because, by the way, great job by Sean Rainey. He got a hold of several Grizz football players right after the decision on Jeff Snavely was released, including Sammy Kim and Samari Torre, Omar Hicks-Onu, and got their immediate reactions. And it's definitely worth watching. You can find it on Twitter. But good job by Sean. You just got to feel for those guys, man, because, they're all very emotional and obviously very heated and mad about the decision, and I'm with them.
Yep. It's Tootell Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio. Colton, the Big Sky Scholar Athletes have been announced, and this is a pretty cool award. It is a sort of a dual-pronged award that goes to both a male and female athlete from all the schools, from each school in the Big Sky Conference. It is an athletic achievement and an academic achievement, and I guess that is what the moniker student athlete is all about.
Nailed it.
And to be eligible for this award, student athletes must have finished their eligibility. So this is for graduating seniors. They have to have earned a minimum of a 3.2 GPA or a 4.0 on a sliding scale, but a 3.2 GPA, and have been a participant in a Big Sky sponsored sport, completed at least 2 years of intercollegiate competition at the institution, and been a letter winner. So there you go. Those are that's the kind of the requisites for it. You'll find that the 4 student athletes from the state of Montana that received this award did far better than the minimum level of requirements on all of this stuff. From the Grizzlies, Mackenzie Johnston and Dante Olson are the selections for this, being obviously exemplary athletes, perhaps. The 2 best athletes in their sport at the school, along with being an outstanding in the classroom. I believe Dante Olson's a smooth 4.0 through his time at the University of Montana. And then Fallon Frigi and Derek Marks for the Montana State Bobcats. Again, 2 just outstanding players, and all 4 very deserving of this. I want to know, though, how this goes, because all these kids, they're done. Is it a UPS delivery that backs up the hardware? Like, how does that go?
Well, right, and like Dante Olson is in Philadelphia.
Right.
I just saw a picture of him today working out in the Eagles weight room.
Is that right?
Fallon Frigi could be already on her way to Sweden.
That's a large posting.
Derek Marks, he can just go pick it up because he's like the mayor of Bozeman and Belgrade anyway. So
that's right.
He can just swing by. I mean, I know the Hope or the Grace Bible Church that he works at as a pastor is right across the street from campus.
That's right.
So he'll be able to get his. But
now, as a pastor, I'm just going to say this to you, Derek. Not in the sanctuary itself. It has to go in your office. You have to have a little humility associated with this. You can't put personal awards in the actual.
I don't think Derek Marks needs any advice on humility.
Man, I need some advice from him. Nobody's got less reason not to be humble and more reason that he isn't than I.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
It's funny when you talk about these 4 people, too, these 4 athletes, because Mackenzie Johnson was the spokesperson, basically, for the Lady Grizz during a really hard time. I mean, I think that I said it multiple times during the winter. A girl like hers came up at Anaconda and then played at Helena Capital and was such an awesome high school athlete in multiple different sports. Dreamed of playing for Lady Grizz her whole life, and I don't think that she would have ever imagined that her career would be where she'd end in the top 7 in both scoring and assists, and her team would be 25 or 30 games under 500 when it was all said and done.
Right.
Win 1 Big Sky tournament game by no fault of her own. But she deserves a ton of credit for just for always having a positive attitude. I mean, it's tough to sit up there and explain losing to the Cats 7 out of 8 times. It's tough, and she's the one that gets called every single night because she's the point guard. She plays 40 minutes a game. She's going to have the best stat line. She's coming to the press conference. So, trying to explain it every single week as a young person, that's tough. And, Dante Olson, we both know Dante. Dante, when you don't have the recorder in his face, is just a hilarious guy. And then when he's always trying to be Mr. Humble, and he is so humble, but maybe not his favorite thing in the world to do the interviews, but his favorite thing in the world is to tackle running backs, and he let his play do the talking for him, certainly. But then when you talk to kids like Derek Marks and Fallon Frigi, you can't call them kids, right? I mean, Derek Marks is a grown man. I mean, he's married. He's already got his career all laid out for him. he's more mature than I am. And he's 23 years old.
Yes.
And Fallon Frigi, you get her on the show, and I think we asked her one question in the first 11 minutes of the interview because she just told us the whole thing. And just how articulate and cool and kind she was and how smart she was. So, all these athletes are great. They have a lot to be proud of. And I think that the University of Montana and Montana State should both be very proud of these student athletes as well.
No question. It's Tootell Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio, Hour 1 in the books, Hour 2 straight ahead. We didn't get to this off the top because of the breaking news out of Darby. We will get to it here in hour number 2. The Missoula Paddleheads, their 2020 season has been canceled due to COVID-19. Them and everybody else in minor league baseball across the country. We'll get to the statements both from minor league baseball itself and from the Paddleheads specifically right after this. Kurtz Polaris, they are at 2904 West Broadway in Missoula, Highway 83 in Sealy. The weather is warming up, and it's time to get your dirt biking, off-roading, and on-laking activities to a maximum with Kurtz Polaris. Beta and Husqvarna dirt bikes, tops in the industry, brand new for the season, are at Kurtz. They also have great Polaris side-by-sides, including the hard-working Ranger and fun, fast Razor. Boys and girls, 4th of July is coming up. Did you know that? This weekend, 4th of July. You want to get on the lake, you want to float around, you want to enjoy a pop or two, light off a firework. How about a Crest pontoon boat? Take you out there on the water, spend the day, soak up the sun. It's going to be beautiful. Crest pontoon boats, they are at Kurtz as well. Summer, the way you always envision with Kurtz Polaris, online at kurtzpolaris.com. Summer is here, so get out of the house and play some golf at the picturesque Canyon River Golf Club. Canyon River boasts a pristine 18-hole championship golf course sitting along the Clark Fork River in the beautiful mountain valley of East Missoula. The course is meticulously manicured and in perfect shape to give you the challenge and fun you're looking for. Visit CanyonRiverGolfClub.com to book your tee time online and save big all season. You've been cooped up, so get out and play at Canyon River Golf Club.
This is Mike Nugent with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Berkshire Hathaway provides Western Montana with full-time real estate professionals for you whenever you need us. Our reputation as the state's most knowledgeable and available real estate group has helped build unmatched trust in the Garden City and statewide. If you have been thinking of making a real estate move in the short or long term, give me a call. No pressure, no expectations. Just professional opinions and service at whatever pace you are comfortable with. Give me, Mike Nugent, a call today, 531-1802. And remember, every question is good to ask.
We're all staying at home more than usual, and that means more dishes.
See the new line of GE dishwashers at Fred's Appliance 4th of July sale.
With features like a spacious third rack and fan assist drying, GE dishwashers will make your big loads of dishes shine.
Fred's has the best selection of dishwashers anywhere. See all the top brands and latest models with one stop at Fred's Appliance.
The 4th of July sale is one of the biggest sales of the year. If you're looking for a kitchen package or just one appliance, you don't want to miss this sale.
Many GE dishwashers are Wi-Fi enabled. Start and stop your dishwasher on the go.
Have bottles to wash? GE dishwashers have bottle jets to safely clean bottles for you and your family.
GE dishwashers quietly clean your dishes so you don't have to. Even go without scraping. Some GE dishwashers have the Piranha food disposal to eliminate food particles.
Fred's Appliance, 93 South, 5 minutes south of Brooks and Reserve. Fred's 4th of July sale is going on now. Come in and see us today.
There's a reason the Desperado has been voted best wings and sports bar in Missoula. Start with the wings. Despo wings are never frozen, which is why they're always big, juicy, and tender. And the burgers and steaks at the Despo? They purchase them each day from a butcher shop right here in town. And when it comes to drinks, the Despo has the coldest beer on tap and is always served in a frosty mug. All this, plus the NFL ticket every Sunday, Grizz games, and the friendliest staff in town. The Desperado Sports Tavern, across from the Y on Russell.
At Missoula Bone & Joint, we call it walk-in urgent care, but really, you may limp in, roll in, hobble in, or be carried in. What we're really saying is that you don't need an appointment when you have an urgent orthopedic injury or condition. Save yourself time and money and come directly to the specialist. Missoula Bone & Joint's walk-in orthopedic urgent care on Mullen Road now has its own entrance. Look for the blue awning just past the main entrance. Missoula Bone & Joint, quality care from people who care.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Hi, how you doing? Ryan Tootell, Colton Nuanez. Here's some sports news for you. Former Montana State All-American Mike Person retired from the NFL after 9 seasons Monday. As we reported yesterday, a little more detail about that. Person had just finished the first season of a 3-year, $8.2 million contract extension with San Francisco. But the club released him after the season to save money against the salary cap. Person was a 7th-round draft choice by the Niners in 2011. He bounced around earlier in his career with the Seahawks, Chiefs, Rams, Falcons, and Colts before returning to San Francisco.
Breaking news this afternoon, minor league baseball made official on Tuesday what most had expected all along. There will not be a 2020 season anywhere in the United States of America for minor league baseball. The minor league campaign had previously been on hold nationwide due to, you'd be surprised, the coronavirus pandemic, and Major League Baseball has informed its MILB affiliates that it would not provide players to fill their rosters for the remainder of the year.
And finally, NBA 2K21 has revealed a new face for the game cover. It's former Weber State point guard and current Portland Trailblazers star Damian Lillard. In a statement released, Lillard said, quote, "This is a special moment for me in my NBA career. I've been a fan of NBA 2K for years and love how they represent all aspects of basketball culture," end quote. A total of 3 players will be represented on NBA 2K21 covers. The other 2 have not yet been revealed. Would you rather go on a burger tour or a bar tour of the state of Montana?
Wow. That's interesting.
And granted, you're going to go to about 90% of the same spots.
Right.
So maybe it's not that different.
Yeah, it's such an interesting question, especially at this moment in time.
Well, I mean, I don't mean it in this moment.
No, I know.
Just thinking. I mean,
I love small towns and I love small town bars.
100%.
But I also
love a great burger.
Well, but like the state of society at this exact moment has just been so revelatory. And it really is making me question a lot of different avenues. And we'll just leave it at that.
You're overthinking all this.
I don't know, man.
There's just some great watering holes to saunter into, and there's some great burgers to
all I know is that I used to, you're like me. Sometimes we go into establishments 100% by ourselves so that we can just sit there and just listen to what other people are talking about. Yeah. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to watch and be there and just sit and not have my phone and just breathe the air and all of it, right?
Yeah.
And I always found it so fun and funny to just listen to what the old timers in Chester, Montana are talking about at the end of the bar, what the guys in Glasgow are talking about. Now, all the things that they're talking about is the same thing that everybody's talking about, and it's just exhausting. And that's the part that just.
Where can I go to just hear about whether the corn is going to grow?
And then sometimes you hear these conversations, and I don't know. I won't even say the place, but I was at a place the other day doing exactly what I'm talking about, and I just couldn't believe what the people were talking about and what they're saying, and I just had to get up and leave. I was just like, I cannot handle any of this.
Okay.
But anyways, I think that
you've effectively ruined my question.
I don't know. Which one would you rather do?
Man, it really depends on the day.
Right.
Like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's burgers. Tuesday, Thursday, it's bars. Probably the burgers, man. I'm kind of a burger lover, as shocking as that might turn out to be. So, I'm looking around for the best of them as best as I can get. There's some good ones around this town too, which I'm happy about. And there's some great ones elsewhere too. Gotta go track them down. All right. Welcome to hour number 2, y'all. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it very much. If you missed anything in hour number 1, you can check it out on the podcast. Podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. Tootell and Nuanez, search it, rate, review, subscribe. Then you don't have to search it anymore. Podcast available thanks to Alpine Touch and Blackfoot. If you would like to call, 361-3688 is the phone number. All guests join us via the Range Brothers RV phone line. As Coulter mentioned in the news brief there, breaking now about just earlier this afternoon, a couple hours ago, officially, minor league baseball has been canceled nationwide. When I read this, Coulter, I was surprised at how surprised I was.
Really? You're surprised by this?
Here's the thing. I'm not surprised by this. If you would have asked me beforehand, is there going to be a season, I would have said, probably not. And I was thinking of it more locally, like the Pioneer League and everything like that. I didn't, and largely too, minor league baseball at large probably no. The thing is, though, is that the thing that we have heard is that minor league baseball had to wait. The Pioneer League had to wait for Major League Baseball to come to terms on what it was that they were going to do, right, when they were going to do it. And then my understanding or my feeling was that, okay, and then there would be a conversation, a deliberation about whether there can be minor league baseball when it would start, if it was going to start probably 2 weeks roughly after the first day, opening day of Major League Baseball, which we talked about before. Major League Baseball opening day is going to be the 23rd or 24th of July. So that means, that second week in August, the 8th, maybe somewhere in there could be opening day for minor league baseball. But all of this was just, the best that they, that you could think of and talk about at the time. The reality being that it was going to be very hard logistically to pull together a minor league system with all the disparate teams and places and all of that. So, the logistics of one professional league is enough when you talk about the 31 teams in baseball? I got to look. I should know. 30. I think you're right. 30 Major League Baseball teams. Talk about 180 teams playing in dozens of different leagues. Right. Trying to pull that off is obviously not doable. That said, the reason I was surprised by this is because I never heard anything. Like, I never heard a conversation about that Pat O'Connor, the commissioner of minor league baseball, is working with reps from other, from baseball leagues around the country to try and decide the best way to go forward, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe here's some other options. Maybe it'll only be AAA. Maybe it'll be triple and double A. Maybe the rural, located, leagues could have baseball for the summer. I never heard any of that stuff, any possibilities, anything. And then all of a sudden, you get an email, you get a press release today, gone, done. And you go, oh, wow, okay, well, that was quick. That didn't take long. And again, the result isn't surprising, but to me, the process was a little bit more surprising because I thought that we would have heard at least a little bit more after the announcement was made a week ago that baseball was going, finally had kind of settled on it, that there might be something here. There was not. And so there will not be baseball anywhere in America, and obviously that means they're in the state of Montana in the Pioneer League.
Pioneer League President Jim McCurdy, this is to the Billings Gazette today. We are all aware of the pandemic and its impact on all our normal activities and businesses, including professional sports. We are not overly surprised. Nevertheless, it's not what we had in mind, of course, when we started this year, but it's something that everybody is facing. We will stand with it and bear it and get through it and try to continue towards normal activities. There has been a disconnect in terms of the transparency of this all because I think that, first of all, MLB and MILB are two different organizations.
That's right.
So although one mirrors the other one, they're not actually connected in their decision making. There was also a ton of secrecy when you're talking about negotiating this professional baseball agreement, as they call it, which has stood for 30 years. I can't believe that there was ever an agreement that was signed that was not renewed.
Because it takes so long. I should put the next one in for a century.
But there was all sorts of leaks coming out of that, but then all sorts of backtracking and things like that. Basically, when it was leaked that they were considering cutting Rookie League Baseball, then both MLB and MILB went and said, no, that's not happening. And then it turned out that was being discussed, and it just seemed like they were trying to hide it. But I wonder. I just don't think this bodes well for the really small leagues because now you have a whole. First of all, you're losing all the revenue. That's going to be a killer when you're not big budget by any means. If you're the Paddleheads or the Billings Mustangs or the Great Falls Voyagers, but it also just gives it another year for teams to weigh the pros and cons of having Rookie League affiliates, and it just seems to me, from the business point of view, there's a lot more cons than there is pros, unfortunately.
I'll just read a couple of statements here for you, just to make it official. This is from Pat O'Connor, again, who's the minor league president and CEO, effectively the commissioner of minor league baseball. He says, quote, "These are unprecedented times for our country and our organization, as this is the first time in our history that we've had a summer without minor league baseball played. While this is a sad day for many, this announcement removes the uncertainty surrounding the 2020 season and allows our teams to begin planning for an exciting 2021 season of affordable family entertainment." And I buy that. There's a level at which even when you don't think that something's probably going to happen, until you know for sure it ain't happening, you kind of hold on, and you're kind of sitting there looking at different ideas and plans. And now, everybody can go forward planning for 2021. Hopefully everybody, right? But as we know, maybe not. Here's the statement from the Missoula Paddleheads. Quote, "Like everyone throughout minor league baseball, the minor league baseball community, fans, players, team personnel, and staff members, we are disappointed. We will not be able to have Missoula Paddleheads baseball at Ogren Park Legends Field this season. This is an unprecedented time in the sports world and our world as a whole, and we appreciate your understanding as difficult decisions are made in light of the current situation in which sports teams and leagues across the country find themselves. We look forward to the return of professional baseball to Missoula next season and are focused to make it better than ever for our community and fans." And Vice President Matt Ellis of the Paddleheads also said, quote, "Today the cancellation of our season was made official. It was an outcome that we feared was going to be a reality. As a team and front office, we are crushed knowing that we will not be able to provide our professional baseball product to our community and fans this season, but we will continue to work hard for its return next year and make sure our product delivers a high-quality, affordable family entertainment." So there you go. There's the statements both on the macro level, the national level of minor league baseball, and the micro level, the city of Missoula. The question now becomes, will the Paddleheads ever play baseball in the city of Missoula, and will the Voyagers and Mustangs ever play baseball again in Great Falls and Billings, respectively? And the likely answer to that, as I understand it here and now as we sit, is no. That will probably not happen. It was already on the table prior to a whole bunch of lost revenue, and it was already a revenue shaving measure. I mean, that was the purpose of it, was to cut costs, and evidently it seems very much like Major League Baseball owners are very interested in cutting every single dime that they can possibly cut, regardless of whether there's a pandemic afoot or not.
Right.
And so this does not look good to me. Does that mean there won't be baseball in those towns next year? Not necessarily. Mm-hmm. Where the cart is well ahead of the horse on this question, I understand, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What level of interest in relation to what there is right now, single A rookie league, short league season baseball that is affiliated with franchises, that is properly minor league baseball, what level of interest would you have in professional wood bat baseball in like an independent league that mirrored in terms of teams, cities, and that sort of thing, the Pioneer League, but was not affiliated?
So much of it depends on where the players come from. First of all, I think you got to be clear where, when you're talking about the cost cutting and the revenue and all that, in relation to Major League Baseball, the Arizona Diamondbacks are not making money off of the Missoula Paddleheads, nor are they losing money off the Missoula Paddleheads. Right. It's about the protection of resources more than any other thing. And that's where, I'm here to go to bat for the Paddleheads all day because we love having them in our city. I think it's an awesome thing about Missoula. It's one of my favorite things to do in the summer. And that said, I understand the broad perspective that sending guys to Montana where there's a chance that the games aren't going to happen, or there's a chance that they get rained out, or there's a chance where you have to play two 7-inning games as a doubleheader, it's just a lot higher in Montana than it is in other places. That's just a fact. And so you're not cultivating. I mean, if you can send the number 4 draft pick in the entire Major League Baseball draft to California, and he has a much higher chance of playing not just all the games, but a longer season. It doesn't have to be short season. You can just develop guys at a much more rapid level. I don't really know. I mean, to me, it's great to spread the love of the game. It's great to have professional sports in really rural communities. But I don't really know how well guys develop when they're riding a bus for 8 hours to Idaho Falls all the time, and there's a chance that the games can get canceled. And so I get that part of it, unfortunately.
I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand this from you. It just seems like, first of all, the games can get canceled anywhere. Okay, is the weather worse in Montana than it is in Southern California when you talk about playing a baseball game? Sure. But I don't think the development is like encumbered particularly, like that's a particular worry. I mean, I think
sure, but like, I mean, what
going to places is what it is to be in the minor leagues.
Totally, but wouldn't you agree that it's just a much easier acclimation from both a sports and social perspective to not go to Missoula, Montana?
Well, it just depends. I mean,
you're not learning how to. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is you're not learning how to be a professional baseball player in the state of Montana because it's not like anywhere else.
Well, no. I disagree. You should be learning how to be a professional baseball player in the state of Montana if you play in Missoula or Billings or Great Falls, because that is what you are.
Sure.
And the coaching staffs, that's what they're there to be and to facilitate. And presumably, you send the prospects that you want to be prospects to those places for whatever reason. You got a great pitching coach who happens to be in Great Falls, so you're going to send a great pitcher there.
Sure.
The thing I'll say, initially you might say that baseball has no responsibility to this. Like, baseball teams have a responsibility to themselves to create as good a baseball team and thereby as great a baseball system as they can create so that they can be as competitive as they can be. That's fine. In Missoula, Montana, I watched the number 4 overall pick of the MLB draft come in and throw a $101, right?
Mm-hmm.
Playing with at that time the Rockies organization coming from Colorado. That was awesome to be able to do that. You know what? That helped for me cultivate an interest and a love in baseball and pay attention to this kid and where he goes and what his deal is. All of the how many guys, Coulter? What's our professional baseball count coming through Missoula? It's like 71 kids that played for the Osprey have gone on to make it into the show. It does matter about building the fan base nationwide and the quote rural communities that you have that are interested viably in you, not just in the sport of baseball. I mean, there's one thing to be in love with the sport of baseball. How many more Diamondbacks fans are there in Missoula than in the rest of Montana as a result of having a team that's affiliated with the Arizona Diamondbacks?
Man, I don't know.
I do.
I don't know. I mean, is it a lot or is it just like a cursory amount?
It's let's put it like this. In a place where you can be the fan of any team because you're in Montana, there's a lot more Diamondbacks fans who are, rooting for this parent organization than not. And if that didn't exist, then that goes away. Now, how much money does that equate to for the Diamondbacks? Not a notable amount.
Right.
I understand this isn't moving the financial needle, okay? But what I am saying is when you talk about multiply this times 180 across the country, and in some places it does financially make a difference when you talk about the Albuquerque Isotopes AAA team for the Dodgers and the Tacoma Rainiers for the Mariners, where you do have legitimate people driving to Tacoma to watch guys because they know tomorrow I'm driving to Seattle to watch them play for the Mariners.
Exactly.
And so all of that stuff goes into it, and I think that it is one of the things that's what baseball loses for not having college baseball the way that football and basketball have college football and college basketball.
Yeah.
It gains in having a system that is unique unto itself that cultivates fans nationwide. And I think that this, the cutting of this is, I'm not even saying it's not worth it, but it is somewhat short-sighted to me.
I got several questions for you. All right. So first of all, to answer your question, I think an independent league team, where do the players come from? That's the thing that would draw me, but I don't really know if that would draw most. The fact of the matter is, for better or worse, because all the players are new, almost all the players are new every single year.
Yeah.
There's not that much fan affiliation or attachment to the players.
For sure.
And so I mean, I would estimate that the majority of people that go to Osprey and then now Paddleheads games go to sit outside, to be at the ballpark, to just casually observe baseball.
Have something going on, yeah.
So I think that if there was baseball, there would still be people that went.
I agree.
Just period.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. If the University of Montana was not in Missoula and Grizz Athletics did not have such a rich tradition of winning history, would that positively impact the support for minor league baseball in Missoula?
I would think so.
Because I think that one of the main things that takes away is there's so many passionate sports fans in Missoula. So many of those people don't really attach themselves to minor league baseball because, again, the point of it is hardly winning. The point of it's developing players. Even when the Osprey had won minor league championships, they were like 1 or 2 games over 500. It's not like going 15-0 and going to the national championship like the girls football team.
The thing
has.
you're asking me exists in Great Falls and Billings.
Right.
Right? And the thing that I don't know is what their level of community support is in
Great
those
Falls draws
towns.
well. They draw better than the Osprey.
Mm-hmm. And
I don't know about Billings. Billings Stadium is sweet though. It's a beautiful
and
facility.
this is the other thing. Helena moved, right? The Helena Brewers, they were out. Now part of that is their facility was
not good,
terrible.
Yeah.
So
but also Helena's a 20,000 person town. It's pretty hard to sustain.
Well, I mean, yeah, maybe, but I guess I think that that there would be more focus on the baseball team if that was the case. That said, when is baseball being played? School ain't in session.
Right.
Stuff isn't going on. Now, that does buff it right at the start of football season. That probably doesn't help it, but yes.
Is your dad into baseball?
No.
Okay.
I mean, he plays softball. Great softball player.
We share that because so often, like the father-son baseball thing.
Yeah.
It was such a bigger part of our generation with our dads.
Yeah.
Because they grew up at the height of baseball, when baseball was the most romanticized, greatest game in the world. 1960s, Willie Mays and Don Drysdale and Sandy Koufax and Mickey Mantle. Heroes, gods.
Mm-hmm.
And then they pass that along to their kids. You want to have a catch. Like The Sandlot is the quintessential movie, right?
Yeah.
Playing catch with your dad, going out on the 4th of July and playing baseball until the fireworks start going off. I don't think that same emotional attachment, that same nostalgic connection exists. Like, is Kai going to play baseball?
I mean, he might, but here's what.
But it's not one of those things where, I mean, there are so many people that we know where it's like, baseball's it. You're going to watch baseball with your old man. You're going to play catch with your dad. You're going to play baseball until you get tired of it.
Here's the thing: when my dad and I play catch, and we do, it's football. I mean, that's the thing that we grew, that I grew up watching with him, as I recall, more than anything else, was sitting there watching the Broncos, watching football on Sundays. Man, that's what you did, and that's the sport that has maybe been the thing that's moved baseball a little bit left to center to some extent.
So I guess
I'm getting more. I don't know, man. I told you before, I'm more into baseball now than I've ever been as an adult.
Right.
And that doesn't, I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm a super fan.
Sure.
What I'm saying, though, is it's grown.
Totally. But do you understand my whole theory?
Absolutely.
It used to be a rite of passage, and because it's not really anymore, that is going to impact the game way more than the removal of minor league teams. I think that the narrative of, well, if you jerk all these minor league teams out of these rural communities, then it's not going to cultivate the love of the game anymore. Baseball's got much bigger problems than that.
Yeah, maybe right.
I mean, the Mustangs and the Paddleheads and the Voyagers are not going to be the thing that sells the youth of America on baseball.
Right. I mean, maybe I'm swimming upstream on this to agree with you here. Like, the reason that it matters that they're affiliated with the Diamondbacks is because you like the Diamondbacks first, or you like Major League Baseball first, and then you're like, oh, I'll go watch the minor league team play, not because, man, I love baseball, I'm going to watch baseball, and then, oh, this kid, where's he going to go? Now, there are people like that. The true baseball folks are a dedicated lot. That is for sure. And
but how many little kids do you know now that are like, I gotta go. I'm gonna go play catch every single day. I'm gonna go find a diamond. I'm gonna go play Sandlot style baseball. It just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen nearly as much. You're right.
I mean, I can just think in my mind's eye of little kids that are obsessed with soccer and obsessed with basketball and obsessed with football, and not so much baseball.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, here's my question, though. You grew up playing baseball, I know. Okay.
Yeah.
But was baseball as much of an obsession, broadly speaking, for your peers as the other sports were? Because I always...
Oh, no, especially not in Montana.
That's what I'm saying is where we are, baseball already has a big hurdle to jump over because it's ice for 9 months.
It's ice for 9 months, but also it just, because this is such a huge football state, it runs into football too. I mean, that was basically where the fork in the road.
Football's blowing up everything.
That was your Burn Street Bistro Burn of the Week.
Thanks to Burn Street, thanks to football, thanks to baseball for the Burn Street Burn of the Week. All right, yeah, I think you're right. It's Tootell Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio. We will take a quick break. On the other side, Coulter had a great question. Hypothetical question. What former players, retired players, would you want to have playing now at the heights of their career in the current leagues? We'll discuss that right after this. Coulter, sometimes there's some old places you want to go, but also there's some new places that you're like, man, I got to go check this out. You're taking your kids over to the youth sports, the Grizz Sports Camp, 2 weeks. How about go across the street, go to Canby, huh? Tell them about it.
They just got a new shipment in, and I think this is the only place in the state of Montana, Canby Tap House, right across the street from Dorn Blizzard Field, right there on the corner of Higgins and South, where the old Hoagieville used to be. Chris, who runs the place, he just sent me pictures of some of the new stuff they just got in. They got the Ami Gang, and they also got the Tootell, which these are both absolutely top-shelf specialty beers. They have 3 Ami Gangs on tap and 1 Tootell on tap, and then they also have a variety in bottles as well as cans. And this is specialty beer. My brother's a beer connoisseur. He's a guy that he sells beer for a living.
Yeah, that's right.
But George's Distribution, they're the specialty beer and wine guys in the state. And my brother Brooks, he has let me try all of these beers before they were released to the shelves, and they are delicious. So go check out Canby Tap House. They have delicious food as well. You can sit outside, either upstairs or downstairs.
Well, in a great, beautiful, brand new building. It's enclosed, but it's open, so you get in there, like you said, inside, outside, upstairs, downstairs, whatever you want. It's an outstanding little outfit.
2413 South Higgins Avenue, Missoula, Montana, 59801. Right there across from Dorn Blazer Field. Open 8 a.m. until 9 p.m. Canby Tap House and Coffee, a gathering place for all.
Garden City Paint and Glass is ready to help you with your summer home improvement projects. Their trained staff can help you with your painting and staining projects, setting you up with the right colors and the right brushes, rollers and painting preparation, and they can even color match and custom tint. Garden City Paint and Glass sells only the highest quality paints and stains, so your project comes out right. Visit Garden City Paint and Glass for more information or give them a call at 549-0608. Garden City Paint and Glass, locally owned and serving Missoula for over 30 years.
Nothing says Florence coffee like a real huckleberry smoothie. Our real huckleberry smoothies are made with real huckleberries that grow high up on the mountainsides of Montana. Drive to any of our Flowco locations throughout western Montana and try a delicious real huckleberry smoothie. And visit us at florencecoffeeco.com.
The best flavor under the big sky. Florence Coffee Company.
Summer is here, so get out of the house and play some golf at the picturesque Canyon River Golf Club. Canyon River boasts a pristine 18-hole championship golf course sitting along the Clark Fork River in the beautiful mountain valley of East Missoula. The course is meticulously manicured and in perfect shape to give you the challenge and fun you're looking for. Visit CanyonRiverGolfClub.com to book your tee time online and save big all season. You've been cooped up, so get out and play at Canyon River Golf Club.
Hi there. It's Les Schwab Alignment and Brakes and Shocks and Wheels and Tires. Some tire places don't offer all that, but we do to help keep you safe. And during our Ready for Summer tire sale, save up to $110 on a set of 4 select tires. We're open, so stop on by or book an appointment at leschwab.com. Les Schwab Tires. Doing the right thing matters. Limited time offer while supplies last. Actual discount amount depends on tire size and type. Cannot be combined with other offers. Details at leschwab.com.
Shopping for a new car? Consider shopping Flanagan Motors Mazda and take advantage of our nearly new sale. Flanagan Motors Mazda has 10 nearly new certified pre-owned Mazdas in stock right now, some with as little as 4,000 miles. The selection has never been better than it is today. These exclusive vehicles have gone through a rigorous 160-point inspection and come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Just turn the key and enjoy your new certified pre-owned Mazda and leave your fears about buying a used car behind. You'll get a new car value at a used car price and 1.9% financing for qualified buyers. You can save thousands of dollars buying a nearly new certified pre-owned Mazda. Current Mazda owners get an additional $500 discount, and trades are welcome. See them online at FlanaganMotors.com or stop by and see them on the lot in Midtown Missoula. You can buy a used Mazda just about anywhere, but you can only buy a certified pre-owned Mazda from Flanagan Motors Mazda.
FLANAGAN Motors. ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Ryan Tootell, Colton Nuanez. Here's some sports news for you. Former Montana State All-American Mike Person retired from the NFL after 9 seasons Monday. We reported this yesterday. There's a little more depth on it, though. Person had just finished the first season of a 3-year, $8.2 million contract extension with San Francisco, but the club released him after the season to save money against the cap. Person was a 7th-round draft choice of the 49ers in 2011, but bounced around early in his career, spent time with the Hawks, Chiefs, Rams, Falcons, and Colts before returning to San Francisco.
Major League Baseball made official on Tuesday what most were expecting all along, that there will be no season in 2020. The minor league campaign had previously been on hold nationwide due to the coronavirus pandemic, and Major League Baseball had informed its MILB affiliates that it would not provide players to fill their rosters for the remainder of the year. The announcement was made by Minor League Baseball on its official website and via social media. The news initially was reported by The Athletic as well as Baseball America.
NBA 2K21 has revealed a new face for the game cover. It's former Weber State point guard and current Portland Trail Blazers star Damian Lillard. In a statement released, Lillard said, quote, "This is a special moment for me in my NBA career. I've been a fan of NBA 2K for years and love how they represent all aspects of basketball culture." End quote. A total of 3 players are going to be represented on the cover. The other 2, they have not yet been revealed. Welcome back. Tootell Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television. On Twitter, you can follow there at Gus Tootell. That's me, GUSTOOTELL, at Skyline Sports MT, and at 102.9 ESPN. Coulter, you said, why don't we have a little bit of fun on the show today? We tried to do it earlier. It got pushed back, so now we get to do it. You said, let's pick a player who is a former professional player, presumably a player of note, that you would love to have playing in today's game, NBA, NFL, MLB, for whatever reason. So I know you had a couple of good ones. I'll let you start. I have mine written down. Don't look at mine, though, because I want to
yeah, I won't. I don't ever look at this thing.
Yeah, good. Boy, that's what I wanted to hear right there.
I mean, mostly I'm the one that writes it, so I do it for you.
Okay, so I thought your baseball.
So we'll start with my baseball.
Was a great one.
This is actually spurred on by our guy Sean, one of our sales reps here at Missoula Broadcasting Company. He has been going, because of our great friendship and partnership with Zootown Sports Cards, Sean's been going through his old cards and sending me pics and saying, what's this one worth? You got any good ones? Well, he sent me his best one today.
Oh, boy.
1983 Topps Tony Gwynn rookie card.
Wow.
And I got to thinking, man, miss me some Tony Gwynn. First of all, couldn't have a funnier voice.
Yeah.
Second of all, you see him with his pot belly and his round head.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself, this guy's an athlete, huh? And then you realize he's not only an athlete, he was a 2-sport athlete. He was an all-conference basketball player at San Diego State, as well as, in my mind, the greatest pure contact hitter not named Ichiro Suzuki of the last 30 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, no doubt.
But Tony Gwynn was definitely be my choice in terms of guys.
And why?
Well, so many different reasons, but the way the game has become so, what's the word?
Strikeout and home run?
It's become homogenized in the strategy that everybody plays with and the swing everybody has, and there's just a variety of different factors. But I mean, Tony Gwynn had, count them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 200-hit seasons. The most he struck out in any of those years was 33 times. This guy, it's
crazy.
That's the most he struck out. I mean, the year that he finished second in the MVP voting, the guy drove in 119 runs. He only hit 17 homers. I mean, you hit 373. You're just spanking the ball all over the place, man. I mean, 220 hits in a year. That's an unfathomable number. I know Ichiro had a couple like 240 hit seasons, but a different deal with hitting leadoff and getting so many plate appearances and also just being such an unbelievable slap hitter. But Tony Gwynn, Tony Gwynn's hitting the ball everywhere. He's not just a slap it to right field and use your speed like Ichiro. And I'm not demeaning Ichiro. Ichiro is a phenomenal hitter, obviously. He's one of the greatest hitters to ever play the game of baseball.
Yeah.
But Tony Gwynn, I mean, he's driving the ball down the left field line, into the power alley, down the right field line, all of it.
And a whole different deal.
I just think it would be so refreshing to watch a guy like him play right now because, I mean, he struck out 434 times in his entire 21-year career. We got guys striking out 200 times a year right now. Give me some Tony Gwynn, man.
My MLB player, I'd like to see play right now, Coulter, Babe Ruth. That's who I want to
That's
bring back.
good. That's really good.
Get Babe out there, and this isn't even like an era comparison. Oh, could he do it? Oh, how would he play? He could do it. I just want to see, this is a guy who, like, Shohei Ohtani, pitcher and a hitter, and obviously he's known as, like, one of the great power hitters, obviously, of all time. But also, I mean, didn't he pitch a perfect game in which he hit a home run in or something crazy like this? I would love to see Babe Ruth just do everything that Babe Ruth does. Maybe it's just I don't even care about when. I just want to see it, and so I think it would. I mean, that would be very fun. And baseball is the only sport of these sports that we're talking about where you could go back to, the 20s, the 30s, heck, the 18s if you really wanted to, and bring a guy up and say, hey, how would this look? I think that would be fun. I mean, I don't know. It's fun to think about.
Yeah, I that's one thing. I think that the legend of guys that played in like the 50s and 60s and 70s continues to be carried on. But would you agree that Babe Ruth's legend has dissipated just a little bit?
No.
Really?
No, I don't think so. Why?
Well, I think that it used to be, even if you were a young kid, who's the greatest baseball player of all time? Babe Ruth. Everybody said it. I mean, the Sandlot had a huge part of that because of the ball, and it's signed by Baby Ruthie, and but Babe Ruth. I watched a great documentary on Babe Ruth on HBO. We talk about just the fervor for Michael Jordan, the rock star he was.
Right.
Babe Ruth was like that in the roaring 20s in New York City,
getting off the train and.
He was larger than life.
Yeah.
He's a true Paul Bunyan-esque hero.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I mean, I would love to see. We always talk about like transcendence. I think that so many dudes that play like football and stuff. I mean, like Otto Graham and Red Grange. I mean, there's no way you could talk me into those guys being that good in the NFL right now. There's a chance that Babe Ruth could hit 50 home runs.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. All right. What do you want to do, NFL or NBA?
Let's do NBA.
Okay. My NBA player, for sort of the same reason that you had for Tony Gwynn for baseball, I want to see it right now, Shaquille O'Neal. I want Shaq to play in the league because the league has gone full perimeter, and the lack of emphasis or even need for a quote unquote true center is dissipated presumably in all this. Shaq was so dominant at his peak that it would be impossible for him to play at any time and not be the force that he was, it seems to me.
Right.
So, but I would love to see what it would look like to put Shaquille O'Neal in the middle of, 23s a game and how that plays itself out, where it's like, well, do you go for, like, threes are worth more than twos, but 100% twos are worth more than 40% threes. You know what I mean? And Shaquille O'Neal, it's going down. Like, he's putting it through the hoop. So, I don't know. I think it would be fun to watch Shaq play in this time. Maybe it'd be a disaster. I don't know. But I think it'd be interesting, the sort of confluence of style.
It actually is interesting to think about how dominant Shaquille O'Neal was and how actually he played in the era where it would have been the hardest for him to dominate. If he comes 20 years earlier or 20 years later, he's even more dominant.
You think even later, if he's more dominant later than when he was?
Yes. Like right now, I think he would be substantially more dominant. There's not Alonzo Mourning and Antonio Davis and Patrick Ewing and David Robinson in the league right now.
Right, but I mean,
and Karl Malone.
The reason is because that's not what they're looking for a
Sure,
player.
But who's guarding Shaq right now?
Right. But who's Shaq guarding is the other question.
I mean, who cares, man? Bring on Marcus Bagley all day. Shaq is dunking on his face 20 times a game, dude. Shaq is going to annihilate these new age kid centers.
I mean, no argument.
But then think about Shaq in like the 60s.
Yeah.
Like against Bob Pettit and George Mikan and stuff.
Yeah.
Forget about it. He's going to score. He's putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers or better.
Who's your basketball player?
Pete Maravich.
Oh. Just firing them up there, shoot from the hip?
I mean, if you're averaging 44 a game when there's no three-pointers, let's go. I mean, you watch some of the videos, he got dudes shooting from half court. Like, he's pulling from, I mean, he put Steph Curry to shame. But it's only worth 2 back then.
Yeah.
I think that with the rules and everything, I was between Pete Maravich and George Griffin because I think both those guys would be awesome.
I've always
in
blamed
game.
Michael Jordan for my basketball problems.
Right.
Pete Maravich is also high on the list because there's a movie. I don't remember what it was called. Maybe it's called Pistol Pete.
Yeah.
It's not a documentary. It's an actual feature film. That one ruined me too. I was like, oh, this is what I got to do. I just got to go out here and bounce the ball on the railroad tracks, and then I'll be ready to go. Didn't work out. All right, NFL. You want to go or you want me to go?
You go.
My NFL player that I would love to see play today is Randall Cunningham.
That's a good one.
Randall Cunningham
really
was before his time, and great a player as he was a great player. He would have fit so much better to me in what's going on now with the RPO and everything like that. I mean, he was just a guy that they just had. The game hadn't gotten to Randall Cunningham yet, and he would be lights out.
I mean, some of the old highlights, man. People remember him for his athleticism, but dude has a whip. Throwing it from his back pocket, just flinging it.
Yeah, so I would love to see Randall Cunningham play today because I think this game just would suit him to an absolute T, and I think he would just shred.
Yeah, definitely. I got one on offense, one on defense for you.
Okay.
My offensive guy is actually similar to Randall Cunningham. That's Warren Moon. Warren Moon was one of the pioneers of running the run and shoot. He was a African-American quarterback who did not get a chance coming out of college at the University of Washington, went to the CFL, and, I mean, people forget Warren Moon's probably the greatest player in CFL history. I mean, Warren Moon, I think, won 5 MVPs and 5 Grey Cups in 5 years, and then said, okay, I'm ready to go to the league. And he didn't have quite the top level of success in the league, but he still was awesome. Still,
I mean, he's a Hall of Famer
he's
in the NFL.
He's absolutely a Hall of Famer.
Or the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. But I mean, yeah, if you combine his CFL and NFL yards, he's statistically one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time in every category.
I mean, I'm not saying he should be a Hall of Famer. I'm saying he in fact.
No, he is. No, absolutely. Yeah. He's in the Hall of Fame, certainly. But I think that with the spread concepts that exist now, I just think his play would be even more accentuated than it already was. Those Oilers teams were fun, though. They were fun to watch.
I think I know who your defensive player is.
Who?
Because I was going to pick it, and I was like, no, Coulter's going to take him. Lawrence.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would be low-hanging fruit. I think that
LT,
as dominant as Lawrence Taylor was, he would be even more dominant now.
I actually agree because I
would get more chances.
I was trying to think about guys where versatility was, I try to think about guys who maybe got overlooked. That's why I went with Randall Cunningham. Not overlooked, but who who could have thrived today when they sort of had to be sort of fit in somewhere. And I was trying to think about a defensive player, like maybe an undersized linebacker or something like that. And then I was like, Lawrence Taylor is like the most versatile defensive player of all time. And what he would do now, what he would be as a defensive player, as opposed to then, where, I mean, he could go anywhere. You know, he could guard Gronk.
Right.
You know?
No doubt.
Well, no one can.
But Lawrence Taylor's not my pick,
okay.
although that would be an awesome one. My pick is Deacon Jones.
So that we can actually see how many sacks we got here?
Right.
Start counting from the beginning.
Well, I was talking to Montana State Sports Information Director Bill Lamberty because we were talking about Bill Kohler and his candidacy for the College Football Hall of Fame.
Great bronze of Bill Kohler out here.
We do. Something happened to his arm. I don't really know why. His arm's missing.
It's
but
an artistic choice.
I guess. I can't wait till Bill Kohler comes in here and sees the bronze of himself and is like, what happened to my arm?
What about the Cristiano Ronaldo face statue? You see this?
Yeah.
It looks like Cristiano Ronaldo after he's been, run over by a train.
Well, that's fine. He needs some humility.
He does.
I mean, God. Can you get any more lucky in life?
Well, you could be me, but basically, no, you can't.
But we were talking about Bill Kohler, and one of the reasons why I don't want to say he's underrated because his numbers retired at Montana State, but I think that if you ask the trivia question to people, who's the only guy who ever got drafted in the first round of the NFL draft out of the Big Sky Conference, I don't know if a lot of people would say Bill Kohler.
Right.
He had no college statistics, though, because the sacks and tackles for loss weren't stats back then. For all we know, Bill Kohler might have had 50 tackles for loss every year. Right. But that's like Deacon Jones. I mean, a Rams person went through the film of like the mid-'60s seasons, and they said that he had like 3 consecutive 25-sack-plus seasons if you just break down the games and actually give him a sack, but the statistic is not official. There's some historians that think that this guy had 250 to 300 sacks in his career. I mean, that's 100 more than Bruce Smith, by the way.
They didn't just start the stat for him, but the name sack is his, right? He's the one who coined the term, as they say.
Yes.
Deacon Jones is a great one, man. I mean, there's Deacon was a football player and nothing else. That's it. Like he was built to play football, man. That guy, as good as it gets. Love Deacon Jones. All right. Tootell Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio. We'll take a quick break, wrap up our Tuesday afternoon. I don't like bad things happening to people, but I do like it when wildlife wins in situations that they're put in. Next.
Wayne McElmurray knows what you can achieve through hard work as an athlete from a small town in Montana. The Troy native rose up to become an All-American safety for the Grizzlies on UM's 95 National Championship team before spending time playing in the NFL. McElmurray has also used those values in his work at McElmurray Homes. Since 2003, McElmurray Homes has helped contract and subcontract some of the Garden City's finest houses. McElmurray Homes is committed to offering quality custom service, quality products, and the best prices throughout any project. And McElmurray Homes is also a proud supporter of high school athletes around the state of Montana.
The Star-Spangled 4th of July sale is on now at Bob Ward's. Celebrate Independence Day with great deals on sports and outdoors gear throughout the store. Bob Ward's is your summer fun headquarters. Check out the savings on tubes, stand-up paddleboards, kayaks and rafts, summer footwear, backpacks and camping gear, fishing, apparel, and accessories for 4th of July fun. Before you hit the road, trail, or lake this summer, gear up at Bob Ward's. Wishing you a safe and festive holiday. Bob Ward's, gear for adventures since 1917.
Hello, Montanans. Times have been uncertain, but we here at the Montana Club have relished seeing how our communities have pulled together. We've been grateful to serve you delivery and takeout, which we will continue to do, and we are excited to announce that our dining room is open again. Thank you for supporting us during this time. We can't wait to see you and serve you all of your Montana Club favorites. As always, we are here for you. We are Montana. Welcome back to the club, the Montana Club, on Brooks and North Reserve, Missoula.
Hey there, Colter Nuanez from Tootell Nuanez. I'm here with Tom from Aspen Sound. Window tinting is at an all-time high demand. So, Tom, how do people get a hold of you to get their car on the books at Aspen Sound?
Colter, well, at this time of year, we stay pretty busy with the window tints. So make sure just to give us a buzz, and we'll get you on the books. With the warm weather right around the corner, it's good to get in early rather than late.
Aspen Sound, located at 1300 West Broadway in Missoula.
Feel the music at Aspen Sound.
After a long couple of months, it's finally feeling like we're getting back to business as usual. But it's not the usual at all. At Missoula's Wingate, we are, as always, committed to giving you a relaxing stay at a great value. But we're also balancing the new guidelines like maximum pool occupancies and increased disinfecting to protect your health with a never-ending pledge to make you feel at home when you're not. If you find yourself on the road in the Missoula area, please consider staying with us at Missoula's Wingate.
Do you or your business have audio needs? Missoula Broadcasting Company has you covered with full-service audio production studios, fully staffed with a suite of equipment with tools to produce professional studio-quality audio. Anything from podcasts to radio commercials, social media campaigns to audiobooks. If you can hear it, we can handle it. Missoula Broadcasting Company is your audio headquarters. For more rates and more information, call me, Colter Nuanez, at Missoula Broadcasting Company today at 406-721-6800.
Tootell and Nuanez on 102.9 ESPN Radio for Missoula.
Good afternoon, boys and girls. Happy Tuesday to you. The weather is supposed to get a little bit better. I think, if you're wondering, we've seen a lot of gray, especially in the western part of the state. I only say that to say, everything's going to be okay. If you missed anything in the show, you check it out on the podcast. The Tootell and Nuanez podcast is available wherever you get your podcast. Rate, review, subscribe. Listen at your leisure. If you're listening there now, well, thanks for making it this far. Look at you. Congratulations. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you don't finish things, okay? The podcast available thanks to Blackfoot and Alpine Touch. Colter, I never want anything bad to happen to somebody. Don't want people to be hurt, injured, or worse, okay? But if you approach wildlife, I will unequivocally be rooting for the wildlife.
No doubt.
Does that make me a bad person?
No.
This is not new news. I mean, this is new news. It's not. It's old news in many ways. And a woman from California is at Yellowstone Park and decided to take a close-up with a buffalo, 10 feet or less, evidently, that she was from the buffalo. And after approaching the buffalo on a number of occasions, the buffalo was not having it and hit her with the horn, and it doesn't go good for the human in that scenario. I don't know if you've seen a buffalo, but they're winning that one, and I wish her the best. I hope for a full recovery. Everybody wants to flood the parks, get out, get into nature, do the thing. I recognize why you want to do that, especially now. But I'm just telling you that for me personally, I'm on the side of the buffaloes and the moose and the grizzly and all of them. If you are going to be the one that's going to put yourself into a compromised situation. Okay? Now, it's a whole different deal. You're out there, you're Clinton Dix riding your scooter down Main Street, everything's hunky-dory, and you come across mama and a cub. Hey, that's on the bears at that point. To me, you came into the human place here, Right. So I'm for in that scenario. For both of them. As it turns out, everybody was good. But, it just never fails, man. Like, you just go up and you start walking. I'll say this. If you don't have any idea, first of all, you need to educate yourself, okay, about the wildlife, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. And it's pretty tough to go to Yellowstone, to go to Glacier, and not know at least a little bit, because it's almost like required you go in there. Hey, look at all of these signs. We've done you a great service. We've made them into pictures, so you don't even have to read words. This one that's circled with a big line through it, don't do that. Don't do this. Don't go up to the thing. Don't feed the thing. Don't do any of this stuff. And these people still do it. You're morons, and you deserve what you got coming to you. That said, I have been in places. There was a sea lion, okay? A sea lion.
Yeah, sure.
Now, what's the difference between a seal and a sea lion?
Sea lions are more vicious?
I don't know, man. I think they're just bigger.
Yeah, maybe. I think they also eat meat.
I think so, like fish and stuff. Well, doesn't seals eat fish?
I think seals eat fish too. Yeah, you're right.
So I don't know the whole difference. Maybe we can crowdsource that at Gus Tootell. Tell me what the difference is. But anyway, I was in South Africa. There was a sea lion, a lone sea lion, on a dock in the Cape. And I was walking along, and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing!" Like here I am with this creature that I'm not familiar with particularly. But it's just sort of lying there. They don't have legs. You know what I mean? He can't fly. He's not going to get up and do anything. And he's just there sunning himself. Looks pretty happy to me, And I came up to a distance. I don't know how far the distance was. I mean, I was 30, 40 feet away. I mean, I don't feel like in the animal's personal space. Perhaps I was, because I'm ignorant on this stuff. But I wasn't very close to it. But I got to a point where I was like, I don't know enough about this animal to go further than this. I don't know if it eats meat or if it's a vegetarian. I don't know what it thinks about me or not. I don't want to even if it just took off, I wouldn't necessarily just want to scare it, for fun or anything. There's an attraction to wildlife. You want to be close to it. You want to be into it. But at some point, you just have to put your hands up and go, I don't know enough to proceed. This is not a place for me to make any more decisions. I'm just going to sit here and be happy that I got to be this close to this thing and observe it from, what seemed to be a reasonably safe distance. I would like to think, despite my personal handicap, that I could still outrun an animal with no feet. So that was where I went with that. I'll stay a lot further away from a buffalo and further still from a moose. Thank you very much.
I mean, sports mirror life, right?
I guess.
So what's the object of sports?
Winning.
To win. What's the ultimate win in life?
Survival.
And the fact that our survival is now inevitable, I think that's why so many of us feel empty, because we don't get the pursuit of our purest instinct.
Now, said survival's inevitable, but isn't the opposite true?
Well, death is also inevitable. Okay. I just mean in America today, though, you can try your hardest to die and not die. Do you know what I mean?
Food is pretty readily available.
You can abuse your body in a variety of ways. You don't have to win the game every day. I think that's why people feel empty.
I get you.
But also, I think that when you don't appreciate that and you go sniffing on the buffalo, good riddance.
Yeah.
Darwin theory.
I know. Yeah. I'm not rooting for anybody's demise here. I'm just saying, a little bit of pain goes a long way in teaching a lesson. That's what I'm saying. And it doesn't hurt. I love my dear friends who are in Montana from California. It doesn't hurt that it was a Californian in this instance either. That is worth a little bit of a chuckle, isn't it? Boys and girls, fun Tuesday. I think it was a fun Tuesday. It was a good Tuesday overall. We'll be back tomorrow. Looking forward to anticipating having Coach Travis DeCure, the Montana Grizzly Ed Benton's basketball coach, with us on the show tomorrow. So hope that we can get to that and we get Wednesday and so much more on the second to last day before our 4th of July vacay.
It's a bison, not a buffalo.
That is a matter of semantics. We'll discuss this in detail tomorrow. That's a guarantee. Good night.
Garden City Paint and Glass is ready to help you with your summer home improvement projects. Their trained staff can help you with your painting and staining projects, setting you up with the right colors and the right brushes, rollers and painting preparation, and they can even color match and custom tint. Garden City Paint and Glass sells only the highest quality paints and stains, so your project comes out right. Visit Garden City Paint and Glass for more information or give them a call at 549-0608. Garden City Paint and Glass, locally owned and serving Missoula for over 30 years.
Summer is here, so get out of the house and play some golf at the picturesque Canyon River Golf Club. Canyon River boasts a pristine 18-hole championship golf course sitting along the Clark Fork River in the beautiful mountain valley of East Missoula. The course is meticulously manicured and in perfect shape to give you the challenge and fun you're looking for. Visit CanyonRiverGolfClub.com to book your tee time online and save big all season. You've been cooped up, so get out and play at Canyon River Golf Club.
Now more than ever, we appreciate the value of relationships. Opportunity Bank has been serving Montanans and building strong relationships since 1922. With banking services for your family and your business, Opportunity Bank is with you as we move through these challenging times. For the latest information about how Opportunity Bank is working with customers and communities during the COVID-19 crisis, visit our website at opportunitybank.com. We are all in this together. Opportunity Bank of Montana, member FDIC.
This is Mike Nugent with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Berkshire Hathaway provides Western Montana with full-time real estate professionals for you whenever you need us. Our reputation as the state's most knowledgeable and available real estate group has helped build unmatched trust in the Garden City and statewide. If you have been thinking of making a real estate move in the short or long term, give me a call. No pressure, no expectations. Just professional opinions and service at whatever pace you are comfortable with. Give me, Mike Nugent, a call today, 531-1802. And remember, every question is good to ask.
Dr. Hardy from NWPSA is here with me. Dr. Hardy, it seems like every day there is some new therapy or procedure for folks looking to improve their confidence and appearance. What is your process for choosing what you will offer your patients?
One of the most important things to remember about plastic surgery and skin therapies is that the latest isn't always the greatest. In our practice, we let science and safety speak, so we educate ourselves on every new technology and procedure, and only bring in what we feel can give safe and effective results to our patients.
Well, that's what it's all about. How does a patient go about choosing what is right for their needs?
Each patient will have an extensive consultation where we discuss their short and long-term goals. Patients can feel secure in knowing that we have the experience to guide them to the treatments that'll be the most effective in helping them reach these goals in a safe and confidential environment.
Contact Northwest Plastic Surgery Associates, nwpsa.com, or call 728-3811.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. This is Spain and Company on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Welcome back to Spain and Company, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, including the New York Post's Brian Lewis, who covers the Nets and the NBA for the paper. Brian, thanks for the time.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
So DeAndre Jordan has tested positive for coronavirus, says he's out of the restart, even though there would be time for him to recover and enter the bubble. Spencer Dinwiddie has not made clear yet his plans, but knowing what we know about Kyrie Irving being so public